Today, I have for you this beautiful Peyote Ruffle Bracelet Pattern. It looks stunning, but is very easy to make. Just use the peyote stitch and some easy embellishments, and here you have a gorgeous bracelet. For this beautiful bracelet, we need some 11/0 seed beads. Then for decoration, I have used, or I'm suggesting, some rondelles, 3x4 rondelles. And then obviously you need a type of clasp. Here initially I have used a magnetic one. If you prefer, you can also use a toggle clasp. Let's see the structure of the bracelet. We need to make a band using the peyote stitch, and then to create the ruffles around the edges. In the last step, we are adding on the peyote band the embellishment along the length of the bracelet. Then the last step, we just add the clasp. Usually we work on the width of the bracelet and then we build the length. So we pick up a number of beads and peyote stitch like this to obtain the length. For this bracelet, in order to have the ruffles at the end, we will need to work on the length and build up the width. So we will pick up a number of beads that we need around the wrist, minus ½ inch for the clasp, and then we do the peyote stitch for the width of the bracelet as we want. As usually, I will work with you a small swatch of the bracelet, and you can use that as a guidance for the length you need. So let's start with the base peyote stitch, and we pick up a number of beads that would cover the entire circumference. Depending on what size of seed beads you work, you have more or less beads. So obviously you can work it with 11/0s, but also with 10/0s or 8/0s without any problem. After we pick up a number of beads that would go around, and we can measure, we can start our peyote stitch. So this is the length of the bracelet. Pick up one bead, go through the next one, skip one, go through the next one, pick up a bead, skip one, go through the next one, skip one, go to the next. And here we have the last stitch. The beauty of this bracelet is that you don't really need to use delicate beads, because the pattern is actually forgiving, doesn't need high precision. Now we work on the length another row of peyote, which is quite easy. The first row is slightly more difficult, but then the following ones are quite easy to bead. Here we have another row finished. Turn the work lengthwise, as we were saying. Here we have just plain peyote stitch. The number of rows you decide to bead for the width of the bracelet gives you this measurement. I would say, so here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would say maybe at least 1 inch wide, so you can actually use the ruffles as embellishment. I will continue to bead a few more rows off the camera, and I'll be back and show you how to make the ruffles. Here we have our peyote band. This is the length of the bracelet. And now we start beading the ruffles. here on the edge, the ruffles. And for this, instead of picking up one seed bead for our peyote, we pick up two. And we just repeat this for the length of the bracelet. Pick up two, go through the next one. Pick up two, go through the next one. And this is our first row of ruffles. For the purpose of our tutorial, I'll bead the second row of our ruffles using a different color of seed beads. So we consider the group of two from the previous row as one, and we pick up two seed beads and go through the next two in one go. We actually do a 2-bead peyote stitch from here on this row. Pick up two, go through the next two in one go. If you need to see better, you can actually move the beads, open the work this way. And here we have the last one for this row. And let's have a look. You can see that already the ruffle pattern is there. Now it's really up to you if you want to go another row. I'll go back to the first color of seed beads, and we just peyote with 2 beads instead of 1. Pick up 2, go through the next one, all along the bracelet edge. I think this is quite lovely now. When we finished one side, we move the thread on the other edge of the bracelet. And with the thread coming out the first bead, we start building up the same way the ruffles. So pick up 2, let's start with red now, 2, go through the next single one, pick up 2, go through the next single, and here at the end of the row, see, we pick up 2 and go through the next 2 in one go. And here we have the last stitch of the row. And because we had 3 rows on this side, we are going to have 3 rows of ruffles on the other side as well. So just pick up 2, go through the next 2, exactly the same repetition. And this is how our band looks with 3 rows of ruffles. And now it's time for us to do the embellishment. And for this we just move the thread on one of the central rows, and let's say it's this one. And with the thread coming out of the seed bead, we pick up one of our rondelles or whatever beads you want to use to decorate, one seed bead, drop the bead and the seed bead, skip the bead, go through the seed bead, and through the base bead, just like this. And here we have the first bead. Now, using the existing thread path, we move it forward with a few beads. So let's move it here now, like 2 beads apart. It's really up to you how you decide to design this area. Again, pick up the rondelle, seed bead, drop it, skip the seed bead, go back through the rondelle and through the base bead from the other side. So you close it in a loop. And that's all to the embellishment. And it will look like this. If you want to have like a bigger impact, obviously you can use much bigger beads. And let's see how it would look with, for instance, a 4mm round bead. So here we have a 4mm round bead. Let's move the thread a few beads forward. Okay, so pick up the round bead, the seed bead, drop it, skip the seed bead, go through the bead, and then close the circle, and it would look like this. Okay, so this is how you build up and make this beautiful bracelet. It's very easy, very easy. And when you have finished the embellishment, you just move the thread at the edge and start building up a loop for instance, the toggle clasp, by just going back and forth here, just like this. and it's something like this. You repeat the same connection on the other side, and your toggle clasp will look like this. I hope you like this beautiful bracelet. I hope you find it easy to make, and don't forget to subscribe, and see you with a next tutorial. Ciao ciao!